Hello. In this short recording, I'm going to demonstrate how mentors can unlock CA diary entries and also the process for reviewing unlocking entries. As a mentor, you should log in using your ID and navigate your way to the CA diary mentor dashboard as shown on this screen. Firstly, to unlock entries, it's worth noting that trainees cannot make any changes to diary entries while they are locked. So if a scenario should occur where it's felt that further work is required on entries that are already locked, you may be asked to unlock entries, or you may request that the entries are unlocked and edited. So to do so, navigate your way down to the relevant trainee and look at the various headings. One here is reviewed or locked. We see an active hyperlink. In this case, we have 12 entries which are locked. So click on the active hyperlink, in this case, the digit 12, and you have an option of either selecting all on the page. There are usually a maximum of 6 entries per page. In this case, there are 2 pages. So I could go in and individually select entries to be locked or select all. In this case, I'm going to choose the 2 highlighted and simply select the unlock button. A message comes up on screen to tell me that that has been done successfully. And if I go back to the dashboard, I can see now that I no longer have 12 locked entries for my trainee. There are in fact 10 that are locked. So the trainee would then see these moving into in progress or with student. They will be unlocked and available for further editing. They will have to submit them to you as a mentor in order for you to approve them. So that's how you go about unlocking entries. Now the next stage is to review and lock diary entries. So again, you would check on the metrics underneath the various columns, and we see here in this case the trainee has submitted 4 diary entries for review and locking. So the idea is that trainees will submit approximately 6 months worth of experience. Those will be reviewed, and if they're satisfactory as a mentor, you'll lock them, and then you would complete a corresponding 6-monthly review. Now that process is covered in a separate video. So for now, to actually access those entries, review the content, and then lock or approve them, you would click on the active hyperlink under the submitted for review column, in this case 4. So I'm going to select 4, and here we see the 4 presented diary entries. Now, as of the 11th of November 2021, we introduced some new functionality for mentors to make the job easier. There is a way of going in and reviewing these entries. If you select the diary entry and you wish to review all the content, you can still choose to do that on an individual web page per diary entry. As you can see, that can be quite time consuming. In this case, this is a test entry, so we can ignore the actual content. So I'm going to cancel and go back, because if you're reviewing a number of entries, that is going to be a very time consuming process. So the easiest way for you to do this as a mentor is really to follow the on-screen instructions, and that is to access the CA Diary PDF report by clicking here, which is the active hyperlink. What we see here in this case, a new tab has opened up in my web browser containing the CA Diary PDF report. So that's a plenary report of all activity. Now, just to go back to the mentor dashboard for 1 second, if you're finding that PDFs are not downloading for you, follow the instructions here for disabling browser pop-ups. So I'm just going to click back on that. Now, the PDF report, as I said, is containing all relevant information for the relevant trainees, including the status of their competencies, and any competencies that are approved will be shown by either a green or a blue block. The number of work experience days that's locked in on the trainee's record, along with any overtime, leave, etc., is recorded in there. On this page, we see a grid containing all diary entries, and the far left column is the date that the trainee created the diary entry, and then the start and end dates, and they start from the bottom, working their way up to the most recent. So the most recent entry here is the 1st of December is the start date, and you can see the 4 entries are submitted for review. You'll see the learning level, the status, the title. Out of office refers to leave days. The firm, if it was a training contract student, it would explain that, and the training firm would be noted. Work experience days and any audit days that are included as for the audit qualification. So it's very important as a mentor that you review the detail on the submitted diary entries. You will see when you are recording mentor reviews that these will also come up here. Again, the data in this is not particularly relevant. However, we do see here an example of a fairly good 6-monthly review. But to push on with the task in hand, I'm going to navigate further down the page and find the entries that actually have been submitted for review. There's various other ones at various stages, and if we keep going down, we can review the diary entries that have been submitted. So here we have one of those entries, the 8th of June to the 15th of June, and this is detailing an engagement. The title is just up here, audit fieldwork, and there's information in the work activity description. Now this would have been an entry that was created pre the 11th November 21 using the old functionality, but however it does also include some information which is now mandatory as of the 11th of November, specific to an audit engagement in this particular example. So it's very important that you review all the content there and paying particular and close attention to the audit days. If there are any audit days recorded, then they have to be in the correct category and substantiated by the narrative. So you can review all submitted information. Here we have another diary entry, understands level 1. We can see now that the trainees introduced a couple of audit competencies, some non-audit competencies, and a reflection on learning, which is again one of the new features that was introduced the 11th of November 21. Study leave and annual leave you'll find are incorporated there. Again, in this one, we have a trainee who has 18 work experience days, so that's for the Chartered Accountants qualification, 2 overtime days, and they've claimed 20 statutory audit days ROI. So the audit days obviously are very, very important that there is accuracy in there, and we would guide the trainees to make sure they're checking the relevant audit guidance. So if you go back to your mentor dashboard, trainees have access to the user guides as well, but they can be accessed from the web page, CA Diary Resources page, and what you see in there is guidance for recording audit experience. It's very, very important that all involved in this process have read and understand this document, which has these documents as appendices linked in. So trainees need to be very accurate in this area, or it can lead to complications and issues if they're overstating or understating audit experience. So you can see all the narrative there that's written up again in these test examples for you. But what it does is it gives you a one-stop shop, as it were, where you can see all submitted information rather than going in on screen and clicking each and every single diary entry as I demonstrated earlier. Now that is entirely a personal choice for you as a mentor, but in terms of efficiency of your time, we would strongly advise to select the PDF report and to review all the information there. Now, because as a mentor I've gone through and followed that process, I'm then happy with what's been submitted. If I wasn't, the trainee has these entries at a status of submitted to mentor, so therefore they have the option of going in and still editing the entries while they have a status of submitted to mentor. In this case, however, I'm satisfied as a mentor that the information is correct. So that's the scenario here, and again you can either individually select them or select all. Now I've selected all. My next step is to select lock and approve. And here we have another of the new features which was introduced, and it's really about reinforcing the message of the accountability of mentors and the importance of ensuring that you're satisfied that it's an accurate record of the experience, competencies, learning outcomes and audit days where applicable. So that is necessary for mentors as of the 11th of November to select that before they can approve or lock the experience. So again, it's just highlighting the importance of the task in hand. There are, bear in mind, potentially two qualifications at stake here. One is admission to membership of the Institute, to competencies, work experience days, etc. And the other, which is a post-membership qualification, and that is the audit qualification. So it's hugely important that the mentor scrutinises the entries across all of those pieces of data and information to ensure that they're satisfied. So this is an extra prompt for you as a mentor to make sure that you've done that. If you decide to go back and review them further, then you can click cancel. In this case, I'm going to select approve because I'm satisfied with the accuracy of all presented information. Now we see the message diary entry locked successfully, and there are no more entries to be locked. I'm going to go back now to the mentor dashboard. We can see that we've gone from 10 entries that were previously locked. We now have 14 and 0 submitted for review. If you have an interest in observing what's in progress, you can do that by clicking that icon. In this case, 6 is the hyperlink, but do bear in mind that all CA Diary experience, mentor reviews, etc. That's been recorded, including all of the audit information where appropriate, has been captured on that PDF report. So just again to finish off, to say that's a summary of how you go about unlocking diary entries by going to the viewed or locked section, selecting the number relevant and unlocking any relevant entries. And also then, if you have entries that are submitted for review, really about enhancing the entire process. We've added that PDF report, as I've said, and also the declaration. So that just makes sure that you as a mentor are fully satisfied with all presented information. And that concludes this short recording.